Today you will learn scientifically proven persuasion techniques that can manipulate anyone. How you choose to use these techniques is up to you, but be aware that they can be used for both good and bad purposes. By utilizing natural human behavior and incentives, you can make anyone do what you want. Whether you're a businessman, salesperson, politician, professor, or department head with people to influence and win over, the techniques taught in this video will be 100% useful for you. Have you ever wondered what makes people trust each other and do what others ask of them willingly? What makes one person able to influence so many others just through the power of speech? If I told you that there are scientifically proven methods that show the human weakness due to some instinctive behaviors that are part of our DNA, and that if you know these secrets, you can manipulate anyone strategically. These strategies are used extensively by politicians and powerful people around the world to gain power and influence. However, these techniques should not be passed on to people with bad intentions, as it would be extremely dangerous. I will teach you the 6 laws of persuasion that are written in the book Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by author Robert Cialdini. The mental triggers are techniques that create shortcuts in the brain to facilitate the customer's decision-making process by arousing a sense of need. These triggers can be reciprocity, social proof, and many others. The first mental trigger on this list is reciprocity. Reciprocity is simply the act of gratitude for someone else doing something for you. It is a kind of subconscious debt that humans have in their nature. This goes back to the dawn of humanity. For example, imagine a man in danger with a lion about to attack him. Another hunter kills the lion and saves the man's life. Unconsciously, the man who was saved feels obliged to repay the favor, and thus feels obligated to give a gift to the person who saved him. But how does this work in the corporate world? If you are the head of a department, an entrepreneur, a leader, or even a politician, you can give things away for free, and people will want to repay the favor, even if it is unconscious. This is why you see so many free samples of certain products in certain stores. It creates empathy with the consumer and makes them unconsciously connect with that type of product or service. This is why you see test drives at car dealerships, free samples of barbecue at butcher shops, and free e-books from professors who want to sell a course. All of this is done to create a connection with you, and now that you know this, you can use it to your advantage. The second powerful mental trigger used by many salespeople and business people is the trigger of commitment and consistency. No one wants to be seen as a liar. There is an ethics and morality filter within human beings that says that people who lie and do not keep their promises are not trustworthy. Understanding this human behavior, professional persuaders force people to declare a commitment to them, even if they don't want to, and make them consistent with their words. Let me give you an example. Imagine a salesman sends you a message on WhatsApp wanting to schedule a meeting with you. He starts by saying, "Good afternoon, Joao. How are you? I noticed you're a bit busy. Could I call you in the afternoon?" Like most people, you reply, "Sure." Then he continues, "Great, I can call you at 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. Which one works better for you?" Notice that at every moment, he is the one who has the final word, making you think that you are making the decision. However, he is manipulating the whole conversation, and you end up saying, "Oh, 4 p.m. works better." He then says, "Okay," and you have just made an appointment with him, thinking that you are the one in control. This same technique is used by some salespeople who present a product or service. Let's say you test drive a car, like it, and it costs $50,000. The salesman tells you the price, and you confirm it. But after 20 minutes of conversation, he says, "Actually, I miscalculated. The car will cost $59,000. You are taken aback, but he explains that the $50,000 is for the basic model, while the $59,000 model comes with airbags and air conditioning. You have already made a commitment to buying the car, so you agree to pay the higher price, even though you feel tricked. Be very careful with some salespeople who work in dealerships. Many of them are dishonest and use these tactics to make you pay more. The third mental trigger that is commonly used is social proof. Albert Cialdini, in his book Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, states that one of the most important ways people decide what to believe or how to act in a given situation is by observing how others are behaving in that situation. This trigger works like a herd effect. For example, if you were in the middle of a forest and saw a group of people running in the opposite direction, you would probably run with them to avoid any unpleasant surprises. You can use this trigger to your advantage by showing real testimonials from people who have used or experienced your product or service. Showing these testimonials is essential to make the sales process faster and easier. People tend to do what others do. The fourth mental trigger is liking. Human beings tend to say yes more easily to someone they like, have a positive relationship with, or have some kind of social connection. That's why the principle of liking shows us that when there is a social bond during the offer of a product, it is more likely to be accepted. It's worth about twice as much to give an example in the middle of a conversation. A seller can either treat the customer in a robotic manner or they can chat, ask about their favorite sports team or where they were born, and have an unconscious conversation. People are very needy, and by creating a connection with them, they start looking at you differently. This creates empathy and the affection trigger becomes very strong, making your chance of closing a deal with that person go from 0 to 10 in just a few minutes. Therefore, from now on, never treat people automatically, try to become friends with them. This is one of the biggest and most powerful mental triggers. Humans do not handle fear well and immediately try to get rid of this emotion. They value what is scarce and will end up making it rare. Imagine that you go to a store to buy a washing machine and you ask the seller how much the 15 kilograms machine costs. If the seller says, it's costing $1,500, and you say, okay, I'll go to another store. Then, the seller says, oh, this machine has already been sold. I don't think we have any left in stock. You'll feel frustrated, and then the seller says, wait, let me take a look here in the system. He takes you to a corner and checks the system and says, look, I have one more unit in my stock, and because it's priced so low, it might be sold at any moment. Facing the danger of losing that machine, there is no other opportunity, so you end up closing the deal because it is something scarce, something that will run out. This triggers the fear in the human, and they start thinking that maybe they won't find it at a cheaper price. The last but not least important trigger is the authority trigger in negotiations. The authority trigger is a technique that, when used, gives greater credibility to the sales pitch. It can be used both to position the seller as an authority on the subject and to make a product, service, or brand a great reference. You can use the quantity of successful customers, the names of big companies or partners, awards, testimonials, and so on. Have you ever seen toothpaste ads that say 97% of dentists recommend Colgate, for example? It's no coincidence that an image of a man dressed in a lab coat conveys authority that he is an expert in the subject, and with that, it impresses on your subconscious mind that that brand is good, that it will solve your problem. I hope you understand the principles of authority. I intend to bring many more videos related to mental persuasion triggers on how to manipulate people, how to influence people. And remember, don't use this for evil. If you use it to sell products or services, I'm sure you'll be very successful in your life. Subscribe to my channel, leave a comment to help me. Your comment is very important to me. This will make the algorithm deliver the video to more people. If you made it to the end of this video, type I made it to the end below, and I'll know that you're really someone who's looking to learn to be a better person. Thank you, see you soon.